While most incoming administrations plan their first 100 days, the upcoming administration could fundamentally reconstruct the federal government from day one, due to one not so short document called Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Trump's Project 2025.
Now, the best way to describe Project 2025 is saying someone looked at our entire system of governance and said, you know what this needs? A complete factory reset. Now, before we dismiss this as just another think tank pipe dream, let's understand something crucial. The think tank that's credited with basically coming up with and putting together and getting all the collaborators for Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, is responsible for another famous blueprint, the Mandate for Leadership, which actually shaped about 60% of Reagan's policies. So when they release a 920-page blueprint for dismantling our administrative state, we should probably pay attention. So let's break down exactly what they're proposing. At its core, Project 2025 challenges three fundamental constitutional principles. First, separation of powers. So remember how your civics teacher drew those nice neat little circles showing how government branches each check each other? Well, this plan basically takes an eraser to those lines and redraws them, all pointing to the executive branch. Now, the legal precedent they're trying to overturn goes back to Humphrey's Executive versus United States, 1935. The Supreme Court there said that Congress could create independent agencies that the president could not control. Project 2025 essentially says that that's cute and proposes a Schedule F, a mechanism to reclassify career civil servants as political appointees. Now, I'm sure you're saying, wait, can they do that? Well, that's where this all gets interesting. The legal argument hinges on Article 2's vesting clause, which gives the president executive power. We all are familiar with executive power, but here's the problem. Courts have consistently held that this power isn't absolute. Now let's talk about the specific agency changes they're proposing in Project 2025. And trust me, this is more dramatic than any government reorganization since FDR. Now, you might have heard of that tiny little department known as the Department of Education. Well, that would be gone. That's right, Project 2025, if implemented, would eliminate it. But here's the legal catch. You can't just eliminate federal education oversight established by cases like Brown v. Board of Education with just the wave of your magic wand. Now, there are literally thousands of federal laws, regulations, and court orders that would need to be untangled first. The Department of Justice is on Project 2025's hit list too. And the DOJ overhaul is particularly fascinating from a legal perspective. Project 2025 contemplates what they call a top-to-bottom reconstruction. Now, reconstructing the DOJ isn't like reorganizing your Netflix queue. It involves complex statutory authorities, decades of legal precedent, and constitutional obligations. And I'm sure you're asking, okay, well, haven't previous administrations reformed agencies before? Well, yes, but not like this. Previous reforms worked within the existing legal frameworks. This would be more like rewriting the rules of gravity while skydiving. Now, the practical implementation faces three major legal hurdles. First, there's the Administrative Procedure Act, which requires agencies to follow specific processes for any major changes to government. You can't just post new government, who this, on Twitter and then call it a day. Second, there's a Civil Service Reform Act, which protects federal employees from political retaliation. Schedule F essentially tries to drive a truck right through all of these protections. Third, there's a small matter of 50 years of Supreme Court precedent on administrative law. So changing this would generate more litigation than a slip and fall at a plaintiff lawyers convention. If Project 2025 were to be implemented, the legal challenges would likely be immediate and overwhelming. There would be a laundry list of potential lawsuits. First, there would be constitutional challenges, First Amendment issues, due process claims potentially from the affected federal employees, separation of power arguments and claims. The list goes on and on and on. There aren't just legal challenges. The broader implications are also staggering if Project 2025 was implemented. So this isn't just about government reorganization. It's about fundamentally changing how federal power operates in American life. The economic impact alone would make the 2008 financial crisis look like a bounced check. We are talking about potentially disrupting federal contracts, regulatory frameworks, international trade agreements, environmental protocols, and that's all before we get to the social implications, which would affect everything from civil rights enforcement to whether you can even watch certain content on streaming platforms. The changes would be massive. In essence, Project 2025 isn't just a transition plan. It's an attempt to fundamentally reshape American governance in a way that would make the founding fathers need a strong drink. Now, whether this is brilliant reform or constitutional crisis depends on your perspective. But there's one thing that's certain. If implemented, Project 2025 would represent the most dramatic transformation of federal power since the New Deal. Share your thoughts about Project 2025. Are you for it? Are you against it? What do you think it will mean for the state of our country? Until next time, I'm Attorney Andrea.